Hello everyone, this is ETV Special Edition and I'm Santayo Tamrat with this edition. With this edition, I'll try to focus on the implementation of the educational roadmap for higher education system in Ethiopia. And my guest today is Dr. Jamal Yusuf, President of Haromaya University. Today I'm here at Haromaya University, which is 500 plus kilometers from the capital, Addis Ababa. Thank you so much for joining me. A very warm welcome to you, Dr. Jamal Yusuf, President of Haromaya University.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be interviewed by ETV.
Well, one of the reform areas since Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed came to power is the reform in the education sector. And one such reform is the design and implementation of educational roadmap for higher education institutions. And how did you get it so far, particularly in terms of change of courses, study time, number of years for practical sessions, and so on?
Good, thank you. Yeah, as you said, currently we are following education roadmap, which is developed based on the national needs and the economic development need of Ethiopia. In that roadmap, one of the components is access to education, and the other one is quality. I think access in terms of coverage, we're not doing too bad, but still there is issue of access, given the population of Ethiopia is now over 100 million. And at the same time, quality has become a priority issue now. In that perspective, I think the steps that has been taken by the government is a very progressive one and encouraging one. For instance, in terms of reinstating the number of years in high school, which has become now to 4 years, or overall it has become to 12 years of primary and secondary education. This is one step. Related to this one, the recent, matriculation, recent national examination being conducted by higher learning institution is also a major step, whereby we get the right students, free from cheating, and this really help us in terms of getting the right student. Coming to the higher learning institution in the context of Haromaya University, since then we have been looking into the curriculum we're offering at undergraduate, a master's program in PhD level. In that perspective, when we're looking into the types of subjects, the areas of specialization we are covering, we are trying to align, not only in terms of quality, we are trying to align the national priority focus. Agriculture is one, mining, tourism, and digital issue is also there. So from that point of view, with respect to the quality of curriculum, we are trying all our best to make the curriculum relevant in terms of the content, what is covered in a particular subject or area of specialty, as well as the mode of delivery. The quality entails ensuring the right content and using proper mode of delivery, which has to be more of student-centered. So with respect to content, we're trying to look into having the basic content in all subjects, the basic generic content, plus including local authentic contents. When I say local authentic contents, the content that really speak to the reality in Ethiopian context, in different Ethiopian contexts, at the same time maintaining, the very generic the generic content of that particular subject. At the same time, that content needs to be supported with a practical, hand-on skill exposure. So in that respect also, we are trying our best to have our students to get exposed to practical hands-on laboratory workers and field workers with the community outside, as well as with industries.
Well, then what are the reactions of teachers and students, particularly whether the course material is added are in relevance to their studies, and also whether the course materials are adequately and carefully prepared?
I think with respect to the content, I think and the time allocated, if we take Haramaya's experience, almost is the same for other universities as well, because we are following harmonized curriculum for similar programs at national level. The number of courses versus content plus the time allocated, yes, really need to be looked into. But the recent change recently, with the initiative of the previous Ministry of Science and Higher Education, as well as the current Ministry of Education, we have been revising the curriculum in terms of content and its mode of delivery. Based on that, I don't see the time allocated for, let's say, for 3 credit hour subject is 43 contact hours. 1 contact hour is 50 minutes, plus 3 hours is for examination. So you can see that's almost like 16 weeks per semester. Even if we look into the experience elsewhere in Europe and in the United States, it's more or less the same. And for that matter, if you consider universities like Haramaya, it's typically U.S. land grant, typical U.S. land grant model, where we teach, do research, and community engagement. And the initial, inception of our curriculum and this mode of delivery also more or less looks like that of U.S. universities. But still, yes, there is a long way for us to go in terms of engaging students throughout the semester, both in classroom as well as in outside practical context.
Then how do you think are these and other reform areas that are just included and being implemented in the Ethiopian higher education institutions help Ethiopia solve its socio-economic and political challenges, as well as achieve its aspirations of development in terms of economy or politics, social, and so on?
Yeah, you see, now we are in phase along the education roadmap, in the phase whereby universities are differentiated into four categories. Among that, Haramaya is research and postgraduate university. From that point of view, we have developed our strategic plan along the priority need of the nation. For instance, in our differentiation strategy, agriculture gets the priority focus. So currently you see the focus given to the agricultural sector at the national level. So in this perspective also, we are trying to focus on the agricultural programs that really address the priority needs of the nation. If I raise a simple example, we are implementing joint projects with overseas universities. In this process, for instance, one student is working on irrigated wheat under different climate, under different water stress. He's trying to simulate, water stress at different level, maybe 100% access. Then if it's exposed to only 80% of the requirement, then 50% of the requirement, and so on and so forth. So we're trying all our best to speak to the national economic development need. Given the quality of skill expected from our graduates, the practical component is not a choice, it's a requirement now. From that point of view, coming back to the point you mentioned, whether we're speaking to the national priority need. For instance, Harama is hosting the African Center of Excellence in Climate Smart Agriculture and Biodiversity Conservation. You know, the climate change issue is a global issue. The same holds for Ethiopia. In this program, the program is supported by the World Bank. And the way we are doing research is we coach our students, our graduate students, both Ethiopian and those students who are coming from other African countries, to focus on the priority challenge agriculture is facing, be in the areas of conserving natural resource, crop productivity improvement, animal productivity improvement, and so on and so forth.
Well, it's been over 2 years now since the new education roadmap is being implemented. And then how did you gauge the challenges so far?
I said different. We are in the stage of being differentiated to our area of focus. In this process, we are trying to develop a differentiation strategy that speak to the Haramaya's reality. In this regard, one of the challenges physical facilities. You need to have state-of-the-art laboratories whereby students go and do the needful basic as well as advanced level of analysis in their areas of specialization. So that's one of the challenge. We really need to work on having basic as well as advanced laboratories. In this process, we are trying to establish different laboratories in partnership with the overseas universities and development partner. And in this process is very competitive, and the journey is not easy, but it needs passion and commitment. So that's one challenge. But we are really making very good progress. If you look at some of the laboratories we have on campus, is through partnership we have with US and the European universities. The other challenge is the human resource. You need the professors, PhD holders who can really stay the required period of time on campus and coach, teach, and assist students in doing their research. So in that perspective, we are not doing bad, but it's a bit challenge to get the required human resource to ensure the achievement of the roadmap.
You said that just one of the major challenges you faced is availability or retaining of senior and lead lecturers and researchers. So what do you think are just the major problems for these teachers to leave? Because this is not just a scenario for Haromaya University only. We have also similar reports from other universities. And what do you think are the major problems for these teachers and researchers?
I think one of the challenges is creating enabling environment for senior professors. We can also see experiences elsewhere how to maintain, senior professors after they achieve maybe their aspiration to be a professor, then continue serving the nation in the universities. What it could be because of maybe the amount of incentive package you have for professors. I think from that point of view, I would rather think the way forward, how to create enabling environment for senior professors. For instance, the government is now putting clear direction so that universities become self-autonomous. Addis Ababa University has started the journey. In this process, it's the universities that determine the salary scale, the sort of incentive package, and the universities are also supposed to mobilize resource not only relying on government budgets. Resources out there, but it's on competitive basis. So, for instance, if you take universities elsewhere, we can take the universities in the United States. University professors, they are supposed to raise. I'm speaking maybe experience of University of Florida, where we are running a number of projects with them. A professor is expected to raise 40% of his salary from grant is bringing from outside, and the state is supposed to cover maybe 60% of the salary. So if we design such incentive, and if we are really determined to determine salaries based on contributions of professors, I think this would be one way of maintaining senior professors. When we say we'll be self-autonomous and we're supposed to generate funding and budget, that doesn't necessarily mean the government support will win automatically. Even elsewhere in Europe, in the United States, the government support is still there, but in order to bring the required change, we really need to mobilize our own funding at the same time.
What do you say when it comes to the nexus between the new roadmap and also the availability of educational input is here in this university?
I think the availability of an instructor is not too bad, but we still need more the senior professors as well as PhD holders. In our strategy we are working on, we have a draft plan on the number of PhD holders we need to ensure the reform agenda, and at the same time we have also in our plan the kinds of physical facilities we need, ranging from smart class, laboratories, student facilities, and so on and so forth. Because ensuring this reform agenda really requires creating enabling environment for both senior, junior, or like all required academic staff, the support staff, as well as our main stakeholders, the students. Because in the future, like I said earlier, we are now moving toward the self-autonomy. Once we get there, it's not the government that's going to, place students to different universities. The students themselves come and apply for the program they want to join in different universities. So we have to create a good enabling environment, attractive environment for the entire university community so that we survive in the competition.
So what special or unique programs do you have as Romaya University to build on quality education and ultimately produce competent, well-skilled, and knowledgeable citizens that can contribute to the socio-economic and political aspirations of Ethiopia?
Romaya, when it started as a single College of Agriculture and Mechanical Arts. So agriculture is among our priority program, both at undergraduate, master's, and a PhD level. Then in our strategy, health come next. We have a large number of partnership and postgraduate program also in health and medical science. Then social science follows. We have then engineering programs at postgraduate and undergraduate level. But overall, although our focus is on this program, we are trying to align strategically the programs we are running along with the national priority need of Ethiopia.
Well, as a university dedicated to excellence in agriculture sector, and also first generation university in the country, then what major contributions have you made so far to the country's agriculture sector?
If you look to the agricultural sector, the researchers in agricultural sector, the technologists in agricultural sector, they are either directly innovated or released by Harama University professors, or indirectly those researchers in elsewhere working in Ethiopia are graduates of Harama University. You can cite eminent personalities like Professor Gabisa Ejeta, who is now researching in the United States, but is graduate of Harama. You can name a number of graduates leading the sector in Ethiopia as well.
Well, finally, Dr. Jamal, how do you explain the contribution of Harama University for the community residing around here, both for the agrarian and pastoral community around the university?
It's very wide. For that to happen, we have a community engagement roadmap, the one we developed in consultation with key stakeholders, including the local community and the different government and the private sector. In that regard, in terms of health, our teaching hospital is serving close to 6 million people in our catchment. In the education sector, we are supporting the boarding and non-boarding school. In terms of justice, we are covering large number of waradas in Eastern Hararghe, offering them free legal aids. Recently, we are looking into, developing climate-smart social enterprise and climate-smart in agricultural enterprises. The idea is emanating from our African Center of Excellence in Climate-Smart Agriculture and Biodiversity Conservation. One thing what we need to always remember is that universities are a source of knowledge. So in this process, we are making a very good progress in terms of addressing the priority climate change challenges. So that would be one step. Then the enterprise issue will also follow.
I really appreciate for the wonderful explanation you have given us regarding the implementation of the new Ethiopian education roadmap for higher education. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Dear viewers, thank you so much for watching us, and this is today's ETV special edition. I'm Santayo Tamrat with this edition, and see you another time.